Mr. Ainsworth, did you get my message saying that I'm gonna have to leave early?
I responded to a couple people, and I can't remember if did I respond to you?
No, I don't think so.
Did you do it? Send me the message in Remind or an email?
I sent it through Canvas.
Oh, maybe that's it. I'm still figuring a few things out, and that's one of the things that I'm figuring out. So right now, if you want to do a quick message like that, an important one, use Remind. And as I get used to Canvas and we use the discussion board and the communication there, then I will use that as well. But right now, use Remind. And I totally understand if you have to leave a little bit earlier.
Okay, I will.
What I'm going to do, I'll post the video of the session um, after school when it's ready. And so whatever part you missed, just go back later on today, review what you missed if we don't finish it. And then that way you'll be all up to speed, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. All right, well, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Let's start off with the question of the day in the chat. Okay, so everybody please respond in the chat. I want to know about your high and low on Monday. That's yesterday. Some teachers used it as a quiz day. Some people used it as an instructional day, depending on your teacher. I want to know what happened. And so let me know. Everybody respond. I'm just going to read everybody's responses as everybody's coming on in. And we'll talk about that first, and we'll get right into a lesson, help you out with a few things here as we get started here. And if you guys want to just turn your mics on, if you prefer that and not typing, then be my guest. Okay, so go ahead and I want to see some responses. Start typing, guys. What's your high and low from yesterday? We do this at the dinner table with my family. We always go around and give a high and low of the day, and we have a chance to catch up with one another, talk to one another at dinner time. So let's see, Jacqueline, low, too much homework, high, got it all done. Okay, Jacqueline, just curious here, was it too much? Am I included in that comment there? Did I give too much homework? Be honest with me.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so far it's fair amount.
Yeah, it was just I had a lot of classes and then I had my pilot classes on top of that, so it was a lot of homework.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. I talked to a student earlier today. In her AP, I think it was AP psychology. She had 5 hours worth of note taking. I mean, it was like staggering. I said, talk to the teacher. That's way too much. So like, oh my God. If I ever do that to you guys and you think I'm giving you way too much, you tell me, okay, you guys don't be afraid to speak up and everything. Okay, I do not want our homework going over, an hour. It should be, hour and a half and less. Okay, so let me see. Let's read all the responses here. Let me see. Oh, good. You guys are responding. Here we go. Too much homework from Ashlyn. Okay. Peyton, hi, got home from Arizona. Low. Driving back. Yeah, driving back is always a, it's not as fun as going there, okay? Especially if you're going to, do something fun, like seeing family or friends or something like that. Hey, for all the people that just came in here, I want everybody to go into the chat and give me a high and low from yesterday or the weekend, one of the two. And read the chat. Here we go. Low, woke up late. Uh-oh, that's not good. High, got to sleep. All right. All right, that was from Michael. Xavier, high, was very little homework. High, had a big study guide due. Oh, okay. All right. Riley, took dogs to the park. Oh, we're dog lovers too. Meaning we have pretty much a farm here at the Ainsworth house. So we call it Crazy Faith Ranch, by the way. We have all kinds of animals. And so we love dogs. In fact, my wife, she has a foster dog business going on right now. So we rescue dogs and we actually try to find homes for them. So Ray, I'm sure you can relate to that. Oh, and you say too much homework. God, I got it. Wow, there's a lot of people thinking that there's too much work and you're tired. Adiana, computer was being weird. Hi, I got Sonic. Sonic Burger. Yeah, right on. Adiana, is your computer working right now? Can you hear me well?
Yeah. Yeah, it's working now. It was just being weird yesterday, but I fixed it.
Oh, very good. In respect to that, what I do, I clear the cache. And if you don't know what that means, just Google that, because when you do that, your computer runs more efficiently when we run in all these programs like Zoom and Canvas and everything. It's called clearing the cache. I'll put it in the chat. So clear the cache. It's not the CASH. It's spelled like this. So just Google that and see how you do it. It's actually pretty simple, but that is huge, and it makes my computer run more efficiently, especially after 3 classes. If you guys have your videos, please turn them on. I like to see you guys. It'd be kind of nice to see your faces here. It's much more personal, and I get to know you by face, not just by name. And let's see here. Just looking at all. Let me see. Joshua got paid low, behind in work. Okay. Gotcha. Well, getting paid is obviously important. Kendall got good food. Low, was behind on homework. Ooh, okay. Well, oh, Kendall, I apologize for saying that out loud. I was just reading through, so I didn't mean to didn't mean about that right there, so I apologize. But anyways, okay. It looks like we almost have everybody in here because we have a big class and I have 31. All right, so if you have your calculator, TID4 or something equivalent, make sure you have that out, have your notes out, pencil and a red pen for annotating. Have all that out, and we're gonna do something here first. I think we're ready now that we have 33 people. And let me present. And I want to ask everybody a question first. And I'm going to set up a poll here. So let me see. Give me a second here. I'm going to, oh, come on. Give me a second here. Ask you guys an important question. So let me pull up the question here. I'm using Zoom more effectively. There's one thing that you can do in Zoom, and that is taking a poll. So I'm setting up the question right now, the poll. The question is, do you own a TID4 calculator or equivalent? And the possible answers are yes or no. So let me set it up here and then find out what you guys think. So multiple choice, boom, boom. Okay, and it's going to be an anonymous poll. I just want to know what's going on. So let me see if I can get this going here. Okay, here we go. So I still have some people coming in, so let me grab those people. Okay, so please everybody answer the question right there as I try to get everybody in here. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Now I can see everybody. Ah, you're on the big screen now, you guys. Yeah, please guys, keep your mics on so I can see you guys. I want to get to know you guys. So my poll question is, do you own a TID4 graphing calculator or the equivalent? Okay, either yes or no. This is an important question. Most of you guys have already answered, 32 out of 35. And so 66% of people have a calculator and about 2/3 or 1/3 doesn't, like 30, 40%. Which means we need a calculator to survive in the course. You have to have a graphing calculator and or use Desmos. So this is what I'm going to do for you guys. We're all going to do something first. So here we go. Oh, by the way, when you saw the poll there, did you see the stats on it? Give me a thumbs up or down if you saw the stats that I saw. Okay, Craig says no.
No,
Okay, I read them out to you guys. About 66, like 2/3 of the class has a calculator and about 1/3 does not, which means we need to get you guys on board. And when I did this with first period, I'm going to do it with all my periods, all my classes, and I'm going to send it out to all the teachers so students around school-wide can get a TID4 free. Okay, so everybody go into your Canvas. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something here. And in the first module under Overview and Student Resources, we are all, whether you have it or not, going to install the graphing emulator, like this one right here. This is what it looks like on the right here. We're all going to install the TID4 on our calculators, or excuse me, computers. So we have a virtual one, so you can do some screenshots and add it to your work. As long as you have a PC and not a Chromebook, it has to have like a Windows operating software, like Windows 8 or 10 or something like that, or even Vista. Anything, Vista or better. Unfortunately, when I was figuring this out yesterday, it took me about 2 hours to figure out how to get all the software and organize it all. I couldn't figure it out how to do it for the Mac yet, and I haven't figured out why it doesn't work on the Chromebook. So if that's you, then don't worry about it. You're still going to be able to do this because I'm going to show you how to use Desmos too. So I'm going to show multiple ways today so that no matter what you use, you're going to be able to do all your homework, a quiz or a test. Everybody's going to be set. Just work with me here. All right, so here we go. I'm going to play this. I'm actually going to play the video that I produced. We're going to follow through these 8 steps here. Everybody's going to do it and get it installed on your calculator. And let me get the chat going here too first. Just make sure I can. Got to figure out where my chat is. Hang on, I got to find my chat box here. Give me a second. Learning how to use multiple monitors and Zoom and all that kind of stuff. Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if you have a Mac or a Chromebook, type it in right now. Just say either Mac or Chromebook so I know who's got one. I'm looking at, okay. So what you're gonna have to do is when I demonstrate, wow, okay, a lot of you guys. Oh, what, it's mostly everybody. Holy cow. So this is, okay, so this, maybe we should do this. If you don't, it looks like everybody has a Chromebook. So all the people that just responded here are not going to be able to put this on your PC yet. If you have a PC like mine, you know, with Windows operating software like Windows or Vista or Windows 8 or 10, you could do this on your own. So let's skip this step. I was actually going to try to do this with you, but based upon what you guys told me, it's not going to be very beneficial. So what's going to be more beneficial is if we learn how to do it on Desmos. Okay, so look on the, everybody that does not have a calculator, well, everybody actually, because everybody's gonna do this. Open up a new tab, do what I'm doing, type in desmos.com, everybody, and get set up and ready to go. I have it on my tabs up here at the very top, so I can just click on it, and then Desmos automatically loads. Okay, so go ahead and get that ready. We'll use Desmos here in a minute. Just type in desmos.com because we're going to use it to do our homework and practice. If you have a TID4, then participate with me on that and do this. I want you to learn both how to do a Desmos and on the TID4. That's the best possible situation. Okay, so let's put that off to the side. Let's get out to our lesson and let's begin. And then if I ever find out how to do it for a Mac or a Chromebook, which I'm gonna reach out to my colleagues. If I figure out how to do that, I will obviously post it in class and make sure you guys can do it. Okay, so we're in section 1.3 on entertainment expenses. I'm going to start with number 6 before I answer any questions with you guys. I assigned numbers 1, 2, and 3 for, you know, I wanted you to try those on before you got here. Hopefully you did. And if you did, I'll address that after the lesson here today. Okay, so let's go to number 6. Here we go. We're gonna do this one together. All right, so get ready to go here. And you're gonna need, so those people that have the TID4, have that ready. And so what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to do this on Desmos first. That everybody should do, okay? So just do that simultaneously. And then what I would do is I would have 2 screens open. So one with the Zoom, so put Zoom on like one half of the screen, and then, you know, put this on the other half of this, or Desmos on the other half, because you need to be able to switch back and forth between Desmos and the lesson. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is enter the data. So here we go. All right, so what we want to do is go up here to the plus sign right here, and we want to add a table of values, and we're going to enter the data in number 1. So speaking of that, let me take this out here. Hang on for a second. Let me modify this. See if I can do exactly what I'm saying to you. So we're going to, yeah, this should work. Okay. And then we put my lesson over here. Aha. Okay, here we go. So this will work, at least getting the data in. So we're going to enter our data in first. So everybody go right here and let's start entering the data together. So we're just going to enter it in as we see it from left to right. We're going to enter in 12 and then hit return. And as we do this, guys, you have to speak up and just turn on your mic whenever you want to. It's a lot easier than typing the messages here. I'm constantly listening to you guys and reading your messages, but let's just get started. Go 11, then enter. Every time you enter in a number, it just shifts down. Okay, 21, and then enter. 43, and enter. 23, enter, and then you keep on doing this. Go ahead and enter in the, I think there are 10 data points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 10. So after 51, we got 19, and then 22, 88, and then 60. Okay, after you do that, type in ready when you're ready for the next step. So I'm looking at my chat here. Go ahead and give me a quick response here, because I want you guys to do this simultaneously with me. That's the only way you can learn. So let me know when you're ready for the next step, and we'll calculate the mean, which is the average number of downloads per club member here. I forgot to read the problem, I apologize. So get the data in here. There we go. Okay, so let me check the chat here. Okay, so we're ready. Okay, so step 2, what we want to do is calculate the mean, because in 6A it said, you know, what's the mean? How do you get the mean or the average? Well, in Desmos, what we're going to do, let me just enlarge it real quick and we'll go back and forth. Go open up the bar down here. There we go. And we're going to select, well, actually, I'm sorry, go down here to the row number 2, go down to the bottom. And what we want to do is calculate the mean. So after you go to row number 2, open up a new cell. We're going to go to functions. Okay, so open up your keyboard, select functions. And now right here, there are some menus right here: trig, stat, discrete, and then miscellaneous. Okay, we're doing statistics today. So hit stats. And what pops up is all the available stat functions that we could use. All right, now I first want to do the mean. So select mean. And then it says, okay, the mean of what? Well, what you do is you go up to the top here and look at the title of your column of data. Okay, it's called X1. So go ahead and highlight that, and then Control C, or you can right click and you can, go ahead and just Control C, that's a copy. So you want to copy that, and then you want to paste it down here, so Control V. Now, if you didn't want to do Control C and Control V, all you can do is just type in X1, okay, and it'll automatically appear. So if you don't want to use the shortcut commands of copy and paste, which you should get the hang of, then you can just type in X1, and notice the answer appears as 35. So the mean or the average of the data is 35. Okay, so let's go back to the lesson here. We calculated that. I think it's going to be easier if I just do it this way here. I'm just going to go back and forth between lesson. Okay, so we got the mean or the average of 35. So let's just annotate this here a little bit here. So this is a distribution of individual song downloads by students in this high school. Okay, so what is the mean number of downloads per club member? So that's X bar. So we're going to go X bar here, or the mean, and that's 35. You guys can jump in if you have questions as we go. Got to get used to this. Okay. And then the next one here, if each club member increased the downloads by 6, you know, what happens? What happens to the mean? Okay, actually, you know what? We should do this. Before we do this, we should use the TI-84. So, because we have a lot of TI-84 users, and the TI-84 can be used at all times, and it doesn't require the computer. So let's work on this here. So let's sidetrack a little bit and let's go to the TI-84. If you don't have one, watch and listen, because eventually you should have one. Okay, so on this one here, we're going to need to do some statistics. Okay, there's a stat button. So everybody hit stat on your TI-84. Like I said, I'm going to do everything on Desmos and the TI-84 so that no matter what you have at your home, you guys are good to go. Okay, so hit stat. Now edit means change, and we have to edit the data, just like we did in Desmos. We have to put the data in. So on the T84, the data goes in list 1. L stands for list. So we want to do list 1. So let's go for it. List 1, so go 12 and then hit the enter button. And notice that it shifts down a cell. There are 10 values, so just go ahead and enter them one at a time and hit the enter button as you go. And double check as you go. So 43 and then 23 and then so on. And then 51. Just go ahead and enter on all the values. Hit the enter button each time, then 19, then 22, 88, and then 60. And then if you did it right here, if you go back up to your last entry, like I did right there, you'll see L1, cell number 10, that's the 10th entry, and it should be 60. Okay, so just like Desmos, you have to enter in the data first to work with it. And now we got to calculate the mean. Okay, so let's do that. Everybody hit the stat button again. Now, 2/3 of you guys said you guys have the TI-84, so work with me here. And if you don't, just watch this because your goal should be to get one, okay? If you're going to college especially, you should get one. Okay, now on the right or on the next menu item is calc. Calc stands for calculate, and we need to calculate the mean. So go to the right with the right arrow key and pick the one, number 1, that says one variable statistics. So I just select 1 or enter. Hit the enter button. Now on the T84, you got to tell it where to take the statistics. And it's in L1. So everybody look above the number 1 key. You'll see L1 in blue. So to access that, you need to go second and then L1. So hit the second button, which is the blue button. Hit the number 1 button, and you'll see L1 appears. So it's very, very similar to Desmos in that you have to tell the calculator, no matter which one you use, where the data is, and then you hit enter. Okay, and this is what it's telling us. So let me screenshot this. And so bring it into our lesson here. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Okay, so from the TI-84, X bar represents the mean. So this right here, there's your mean on the TI-84. And that, my friends, is question number 1. And you guys are being pretty quiet here, so if you have any questions, please don't be quiet. Interact, just turn on your mic and stop me at any time. If you want me to repeat anything or go over the steps, I'll be happy to do that. All you have to do is just speak up and ask me to repeat, and I'll be happy to, go through it again. Okay,
Is this on page 9?
I have no idea. Let's see. This is on page 11. So page 9 is actually 1-3 is on page 10, and then number 6 is on page 11.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to see what happens to the mean when you increase it. So in the second question here, let's read it together. If each club member increases the downloads by 6, that's the key words right there, what happens to the mean? You got to figure that out. What happens when you increase them by 6? Okay, so let's start with the TI-84 in this case. So everybody hit stat on this. We'll do with the TI-84 first. So if you increase each data point by 6, what happens to the overall mean? And to answer the question, you obviously got to do it and then compare it. I mean, that's what we do. So you got to edit the data. So go to edit. Edit means change or modify. That's what edit means. And what we want to do is take L1 and not change the values in L1. We want to go to L2. Okay, you could store up to, I think, 9 lists on the T84. So don't mess with L1. Just go to L2 by going to the right. And what we're going to do is we're going to add 6 to each one. Because if you're going to increase it by 6, you got to add 6 to each data point. So let's do that. Okay, so 12 plus 6 is 18. All right, and then you hit enter and it shifts down. So you just mentally add 6 to each one. 11 plus 6 should be 17, and then enter. And then you just work ahead and work through it with me here. 21 plus 6 is 27, enter. 43 plus 6 is 49. 23 plus 6 is 29. You just keep adding 6 as you go. 51 plus 6 is 57. 19 plus 6, 25. 22 plus 6, 28. And if you know the data set was larger, I would suggest you guys have like multiple calculators, like have the phone calculator. Oh, by the way, speaking of this, speaking of the phone, if you like a lot of you guys said you either had a Mac or a Chromebook, and the free calculator app that I sent out to the entire department and I'm going to give to all my students works for on Windows platforms only. So what you could do on your phone, and you could talk to your parents about this to see if they can help you out with it. You can download the app, okay? And it costs $5, but instead of paying $150 for a normal calculator, you can get the same calculator basically for $5. So just a little shout out right there on that. You know, get the technology and make it easy for yourselves, okay? Let me see, 88 plus 6, 94. So we just got to keep on adding 6. And then 6 plus 6 is 66. And then you go back up to the last entry, and L2, 10th entry is 66. You got to make sure that you have 10. We started off with 10 data points, and now we need 10 as well. All right, so now what we want to do is calculate the mean and see what happened. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, no worry about that, Kendall. I heard you. If you guys have questions or you have anything, just let me know. For the person who just came into the meeting, we're at number 6 in section 1.3 in your workbook, okay? Okay, now it's the time to calculate the mean. So we're going to select stat. We're gonna go to calc, because you have to calculate it, right? So think about what you're doing. Select enter for one variable statistics. And then, well, you know what, let me repeat that. So let me clear the calculator and let's do it again. So stat, go to calc, select enter. Now, at this point right here, you got to put in where the data is. And the data is in list 2, L2 and not L1. Now look on the TI-84, you'll see that right above the number 2 is L2 in blue. So go second, L2. That tells you where the data is stored. And then you go for it, you select enter, and you got a new mean. So notice it's at the very top. So let me screenshot that and get the second one here. Okay, so for this right here, we have a new mean. So let's just take a look at it. Now the mean is 41. So there's your mean right here. So if you increase the values by 6, the mean right there, the new mean, all right, is equal to 41. Okay, so we should learn something already. If you increase the values by 6, the mean went from 35 to 41. Aha, so you know, you guys got to be thinking here, does that always happen? If you increase the data set by a certain number, does that affect the mean in an equal fashion? Who's understanding me so far? Okay, see, most of you guys are your videos are off. I have no idea thank you, Arden, for giving me some feedback, a thumbs up. Don't know exactly what's going on here, you guys, because I can't see you. I sure hope you guys are doing the right thing behind your computer screens, because it will show. Give me some feedback. There we go. I appreciate your feedback there. Okay, so if you increase the data set by 6, meaning you add 6 to all the values, the mean increases by 6. So put down plus 6 right here. It's pretty obvious. 35 plus 6 is 41. And since you learned that by looking at the data, maybe you should expect that in the future. Okay. All right. Now, let's see here. Let me just check Desmos here. So I wonder, let me see, I haven't done this yet, but let's try this with Desmos here too. I want to see if this works for Y1. Everybody, let's go to Desmos here and work with me. Let's increase the values by 6 again. So just type in the numbers here. 18, 17, 20. You guys you know how to do this. 21 and 6 is 27. So put in the new values, increase by 6, 49. Work with me here. So 29, and then 57 plus 625. Okay, and then mean 22 plus 628. And you just keep adding 694, and the last one 66. Okay, now after you do that, let's calculate a new mean. So go down to the third row here, and then go to your keyboard, go to functions, and go to stats, and then select mean again. But this time the mean, we want to take the mean of y1 here. So just type in y1, just type it in directly, and notice the answer appears. So it is easy in Desmos. Type the numbers in side by side, and you can calculate a different mean. So if you increase the data points by 6, the mean increases by 6. Okay, let's pause here. Any questions up to this point? Greg, I got your message. Hang in there, buddy. Okay.
So would you want us to show our work this way, where we take screenshots of this on Desmos, or?
Well, you could do that if you had, let's say, if you're able to do what I do, which is a digital, working through things digitally. So Riley, you could do that if you like. If not, if you can't do that, then you just record the results as you go. And in this case, like I said, if you, I'm not going to have you guys screenshot, then import and make things really, really difficult, Riley. So if you can't do what I'm doing, just record your results as you do it, either on Desmos or your TI-84. Sound good? Okay. All right, now let's see what happens when you multiply the downloads by 3, where they become 3 times as large. I'm going to do that on the TI-84 first. Okay, so let's press clear here. Let's go into stat. Let's do it on the graphing calculator first. Now we're going to have to multiply the values by 3. So we're going to edit them. So select edit and go to list 3. So go to the right. Now we can enter the third set of data values, and we're going to triple everything. Okay, so now we have to take L1 and multiply it by 3, because it says if the club members multiply their downloads by 3, so our factor of 3 here, what happens to the mean? Okay, what happens? Well, you got to figure that out, right? So here we go. Look at L1. We got to multiply all the values in L1 by 3. So 12 times 3 is 36. Okay, and then 11 times 3 is 33. And you just keep on, type it out. Type in the values. If you're working on Desmos, we'll get to that in here in a minute. Okay, 21 times 3 is 63. 43 times 3, that's 129. If you can't do these in your head, like I'm doing, then you have a calculator, an alternate calculator. Jacqueline, I'm going to go over standard deviation here in a minute. We'll do that here in a minute. That's down here at the bottom, okay? We'll get to that. I'm not quite there yet. I'm just going through the basics here one by one. Okay, and then 23 times 3 is 69, so 69. And then 51 times 3, 153. And then 19 times 3 is 57. 22 times 3 is 66. We're just tripling these values. Let's see who's working with me here. What's 88 times 3? What are you guys entering in?
264.
Yeah. So Joshua said, could I just multiply the original mean by 3? I don't know. We're going to find that out, Joshua. That's the whole point of the activity is that, does that happen? Is the original mean multiplied by a factor of 3 as well? So we're going to find that out, Josh. So good question. And I'm not going to answer that until we actually calculate it. So, and then 88 times 3, 240, 24, 264, and then 180. Okay, so here we go. Now let's go ahead and select stat. Here we go. Let's calculate it. Go to calculate. So we're going to go to the second menu under calculate, select that. Now here, the list is L3 now. So you have to go second L3, which is right above the number 3 button. You have to tell the calculator where you're storing the data on the 84, and then you select enter. Okay, so let me screenshot this guy because this is giving us our mean and some other information as well. It also gives us the standard deviation, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Okay, so here we go. Let's bring this in. Okay, so if we multiply the values by 3 and they become 3 times as large right here, what happens to the mean? So the mean now is 105. Okay, so the new mean in this one, if you triple the values, is 105. Oh, my pen, come on, pen. So 105. So if we multiply the values by 3, the mean is now 105. So Joshua, I give this back up to you. And by the way, everybody read his question. It's a good one here. He said, could you just multiply the original mean by 3? So did the mean increase by a factor of 3? Is it 30 or 3 times as big?
Yeah.
Give me a response in the chat, guys, or speak up. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can you check that? What do you do?
35 times 3.
That's right. There we go. So 35, and then look right here, times 3. This is 3 times as big. So 3 times, excuse my pen, guys. My digital pen is kind of acting up. 3 times as big as original, as big as original. The original mean was 35. Now it's 105. Okay, so there's a mean. So the answer,
if like in problem B, it says since it says increase, could I just, it would be like just adding 6 to the original mean too? Same thing as like C, since it says multiply.
yeah, well, so an increase of 6 is add 6. A multiplication factor or a factor of 3 is 3 times as long. So it's a couple different things going on here. If you increase the data by 6, the mean increases only by 6. If you multiply by a factor of 3, then the mean gets multiplied by a factor of 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And now the find the median number of downloads for the member. So in this case right here, the median, we got to find the median. So there probably is a way to do that on the 284, but let's talk about how to do it in person. What's the first thing we do? This goes in, put this response in the chat, please. What do we do the data first? To find the median, which is the middle number. There we go. All right, so let's order it. Let's put the data in order. So order first, okay? Okay, because you got to do this by hand, but then you back it up with the technology, okay? So let's put it in order. So here we go. All right, and let's say the low looks like 11 here. So let's start off with 11. Let's go to low to high. Order first from low to high. So 11. And cross them off as you go. So 11 and then 12. Let's kind of go 11 in order. So 11 then 12. Oh, just kind of looking through there. Let me see, 19. 19 looks like it's the next number here. So 19. We got 21, then 22, 21 and 22. So 21, 22, 23. Notice I'm crossing them off as I go. And then 43. All right, and then 51, 60. So 51, 60, and then 88. So we go from low to high or from min to max. Now there's 10 data points, n equals 10, it's even, which means that there's an even number of numbers in the middle. So what 2 numbers are in the middle, you guys? I can't do everything here, I need your help.
22
We're
and
class.
23.
22 Say again?
23. 22 and 23.
Okay, let's highlight, let's make sure. So 22, oops, and get that. So here we go. So 22 and 23, they should be in the middle. It's 4 in the left, 4 in the right. I agree with that. So to get the median, you gotta, what do we do to get the middle of 22 and 23? What do you typically do with the 2 middle numbers?
You get the average of 22 and 23.
How do we do that? That's correct.
You add them together and then divide it by 2.
You're awesome. Okay, so let's do that down here. Okay, so median, which is the average, so 22 plus 23. You know, I ask you guys always the method here just because, I mean, in this case, it's simple. You can do it in your head. You should know what the middle of 22 and 23 is, but if the data was much more difficult, then you'd have to have a method. So in this case, though, what's the, you can just type it out, guys. What's the median or the middle number here?
22.5.
There you go. That's in the middle. All right, so this is equal to 22.5. There's your median. Okay, now let's go to Desmos just for fun here. Okay, so let's go back to Desmos. Let's calculate the median there too. So take a look at how I do it. I'm going to go to the keyboard. I'm going to go to functions. Okay, and notice there are medians on the list. Okay, so let's, oh, I'm sorry. You got to go to the next line. So go to line 4 where there's a space to calculate the median. And then after you do that, then select median and it'll appear here. We want to calculate the median of the first data set, which is X1. So just type in X1, okay? And it'll calculate 22.5. So it just verified what we just did. So Desmos is quick and easy. It really just, you just have to go into the function menu and it'll calculate whatever you want, which is kind of nice. Let's see, let's go back to the next question here. So it says in the next one here, if the club members increased by 6, what happens to the median? Okay, now, first of all, before we do that on Desmos, I asked the class here, do you have to increase all the data points by 6 in order to find the median, or can we look at only like key numbers in the group? Do we have to add 6 to all of them and reorder all of them, or can we just look at a portion of it?
You can just look at a portion of it, right?
What portion do you think you can look at?
The 22 and the 23, since they were initially in the middle.
Right, and what should we do to them to calculate the new median?
Well, you can add 6 to both of them and then find the average of that.
Okay, let's do it. Very good, thank you. All right, so let's do that. Let's take this down here. Let's add them. Okay, so the new middle numbers. So the new middle numbers. Apologize for my pen, guys. I gotta probably get a new digital pen here. Okay, it's 28 and 29. So 28 and 29. So 28 and 29. Add 2 or add 6 to both of them. So what's the new median? What's the middle of those two, guys? You can just do that in your head. What's the median?
28.5.
There you go, halfway between them, right? So 28.5. Oh, there's my pen. All right. Now let's verify that with Desmos. Okay, so here we go. Let's go back to Desmos. Getting a lot of practice on both the TID4 and Desmos. So go back to line 5. Okay, so get your cursor, come down to line 5. You got to have space to make, find the median. Go to functions and select median again. Okay, but we need to find the median of the second data set. So if you look at the very top, look at the top of the screen, Y1, or the second data set, which is increased by 6, is in Y1. So go down here and just type in Y1. All right, and voila, the median pops out, 28.5, which is exactly what we just came up with. So what's nice is that once you enter the data set in Desmos, it can calculate all kinds of things for you. So those people that do not have the TID4, you could still do all your homework. You can still take you can take your quiz with this. You can do a lot of things. Okay, so the median is 28.5. So the first median was here. Let me highlight these here. So we have the first median was 22.5. The next median was 28.5. So if you increase the downloads by 6, does the median change by the same amount? Give me a quick response in the chat, please. If you increase all the data points by 6, does the new median increase by the same amount? Yes or no? Or not sure, one of the two, one of the three. Went from 22.5 to 28.5, okay? And that's an increase of 6 too. So you can predict that, guys. You don't have to calculate. You can predict it. If I said the data points increase by 10, then the mean or the median is going to increase by 10. If I say add 22 to all the data points, well, that's the mean and the median are going to increase by the same amount. Okay, but not if you multiply the values. That's different. Okay, now let's take a look at the what happens when you multiply the values by 3. What happens to the values? Okay, so let's do this. Let's take these initial middle numbers and let's do the same thing. Let's multiply them by 3. So we don't have to look at the entire data set. We just have to take the 2 middle numbers, multiply them by 3. So help me out a little bit. You guys, some of you guys do not look like you're on task out there. Come on. And
I got 66 and 69.
I agree with that. 22 times 3, 66. And then 23 times 9 is 69. And then, of course, we can calculate the median of those. So we can add them up and divide by 2. So 66 plus 69 divided by 2. What's our new median here?
67.5.
There we go. So 67.5. So just, I wonder, did the median, the original median, did it increase by a factor of 3? So check this out. Let's just check here. The original median is 22.5. That's the part D. It's right there in blue. So 22.5, 22.5. And if you multiply it by 3, look at that. You get 67.5, which is our new median when you increase the values by 3. So hopefully you guys are like having an aha moment here. In this activity here and through number 6, it teaches you what happens to the mean and median when you increase or decrease the data, or you increase it by a certain factor. So hopefully you guys are learning that as you go here. Okay, and then so next one here, find the range. Okay, help me out. Everybody in the chat, give me a definition of range. Definition, not the actual number, not the numerical answer, just how do you get it?
It's a difference between the largest value and the smallest.
High minus low or low minus high?
High minus low.
Okay, thank you, Arden. So there we go, max minus min, high minus low. So let's write that down. So range. I'm gonna have to get a new pen. Okay, so here we go. Let me write that down. So range. So range. I'm not sure what's going on. Hang on, guys. So range, max minus min. Apologize for my pen here. So what is the max? What is the min? So we got 88 in the max. Look at the data set when it's ordered. Min is 11. So 88 minus 11. 77. Now, it's pretty simple when the data points are pretty easy. So let's just go over the Desmos activity. Let's go back to Desmos. Okay, go down to the next line. Work with me now, guys. You got to participate on the other end. Okay, I could tell that some of you guys are really doing a good job at that. And then David, I know it's late. Michael, hang in there. I know you guys are tired, as am I. Being online for 6 hours a day is never easy. But hang in there. Okay, so we need to calculate the range. Okay, so go functions. Everybody, functions. And, it doesn't have range. Maybe length would do it. I don't know. Let me see. It gives a max and it gives min. I wonder what length would do. Let's see if that does it. So the length. So let's type in x1 here and see what happens. I wonder if this is actually the range. Nope, that is not. So cancel that. That is not working here. So I got to figure out. Got to figure out how to do that. I don't know how to do that on find the range in this menu here. Thank God it's easy to do, high minus low. Does anybody know how to do that on Desmos that have used it before? Thanks for the response, Elijah. Appreciate that.
Excuse me?
I
So,
didn't
Jay
hear
Ron,
you.
do you know how to find the range in Desmos?
Isn't it just the largest minus the smallest?
Well, I know. Yeah, we did that earlier on just mentally, but is there a command in Desmos that does it for you? Let's say when the data is like really crazy.
Oh no, I don't know how to find that.
Okay, no worries. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so the range is 77, high minus low, piece of cake. Okay, now when when it's increased, if you increase the downloads by 6, what happens to the range? So you increase the high, you increase the low by 6. Does the range stay the same or does it change?
Stays
What do
the
you guys
same.
think?
It
Stays
it
the
goes by
same.
6 or multiplies by 6.
If you add 6, it says you increase the data by 6. What happens to the range? Does it remain the same of 77 or does it change to a different value? Peyton, you think it remains the same? What do you guys think?
I think it remains the same.
Remains the same.
What do you do if you're not sure, Jonathan?
You just subtract it.
Okay, but what are the new values?
Uh,
What's the new max and new min?
the new max is 94 and the new min is 17.
I agree with that. So range, let's calculate it again if you're not sure. So we're going to increase both the min and max. So let me see, the new max is 88 plus 6, 94. And then the new min is going to be 11 plus 6 or 17. So it's going to be 94 minus 17. What does that give us, everybody?
77.
So it remains the same. There's no change. So if you increase the data set by, 6 or 10 or 50, it doesn't really matter. The range will remain the same. But will the range change when you multiply all the values by 3? What do you guys think? Will the range remain the same or will it be bigger, smaller, what?
It'll be bigger.
How much bigger?
It'll change to 231.
How'd you get that?
You times 77 times 3.
Okay, so let's verify that. So let's get some new max, okay, and a new min. So the previous max was 88, so 3 times 88. Let's verify what Riley just said. And then the new min is 3 times 11. So 3 times 88 is 264. 3 times 11 is 33. So the range is the difference between the two of 264 minus 33. Riley, what'd you say what the range was?
231.
Okay, I agree with that. So 231. So this goes out to everybody else because she thinks it increased by a factor of 3. It went from 77 to 231. If you multiply 77 times 3, do you get 231? Some of you guys are looking in the upper left, which means you're thinking. Everybody check it on your calculator.
Yes.
Check it. Just pull it up. Just go like this. Enter in 77, go times 3, hit the enter button. What do you guys think? Thank you. I see some people responding here. You get 231. So let's put it in red. Let's put all the key things in red. So it's times 3. So if you multiply the data values by 3, the range grows to 3 times as big. So you need to know what happens to the range, the median, and in cases of whether it increases or decreases, or if there's a multiplication factor, okay? And now off to the standard deviation. Here we go. Standard deviation time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the T84. Well, actually, let's do Desmos first. Now, standard deviation. Let's go to Desmos. Let's go down to the next line here. And line 6. And the data set, the original data set's in X1. So let's calculate the standard deviation for that. Now, if you go under statistics, now there's 2 different standard deviations, one for the entire population and one for the sample population. Okay, and the one that we're calculating with, which is the population or the standard deviation for the entire population. which is this first one up here too that I'm highlighted. So look at my cursor. There's two of them. There's STDEV and there's STDEV population. Oh, I'm sorry. The one with the P is for the population. So we're going to take a look at that right here. Go ahead and enter that one. And then the data set is in, we want to use the original data set, which is in X1. So we're going to type in X1. And we're going to get 23.714. Okay, and let's verify that with the TI-84. So let's bring up the TI-84. And let's make sure we get the same values. So most of the class said you guys have the 84. So let's do it here. So let's clear this out. Everybody hit stat and work with me. And let's see if we can come up with the same value. By the way, who's taken their, and I want you guys to type this in because I can't see everybody here. Who's taken the SAT this year? Type in SAT so that I know that it's for the SAT. So Kendall, Jonathan, Elijah, anybody else taking the SAT for college? Greg, are you going to? Greg? Oh, you already, okay, Ashlyn already took them. Okay. Well, there's a lot of you taking the SAT. And let me tell you that, first of all, you cannot use your phone for a calculator. You cannot use, a computer, so you can't use Desmos. All you could use is something like the TI-84. In fact, I don't know if they even allow the TI-89, the more powerful one, or the Inspire. Some students have that. So you have to take in a scientific or a graphing calculator when you take the math portion of it. So what we're doing right now is a good thing. I'm going to show you both platforms, but learning how to use the TI-84 is an important skill. And if you're going into college, it's still an important skill because you can't take your computer into classroom all the time, but you can take a TI-84. Okay, so here we go. Well, we want to go here. We want to go to Calc. So we're going to go to the right, the second menu under Calc, select one for one variable stats. We want to use the original data set, so we have to pull in L1. So go second L1, which is above the number 1 key, and then hit enter. And let me screenshot this and we'll pull it in. Okay, so let me go back to the lesson here and let's put it over here in the margin so I can see it. So here's the data from the TI-84. And the population deviation is this last one here. Let me highlight it on your calculator. So let's highlight this. The symbol for it is right here. It's the lowercase sigma. There's uppercase Greek letters and there's lowercase Greek letters. So it's a sigma symbol. And it's the standard population derivation of 23.715. So $23 and roughly 71 cents. So 0.714, let's say, to the nearest thousandths. And that jives with what we came up with Desmos. So let me just bring them up side by side. So that number there at the end on the calculator jives with Desmos. There's two types of deviation. A deviation in respect to the entire population, all the values. And then if you take a look at just a sample of the population, a subset of the population, you use what's called sample deviation, which is the number above it, the 24.997. Now, Desmos does that too. So let's do it just for fun. So go back to your functions. Select the other deviation right here, this other standard deviation, and then type in X1. And you'll see that the number is slightly bigger. And they expect that the deviation for a smaller subset, which is called a sample, is a slightly higher deviation because you're not taking into consideration everybody. You're only considering a few people in the population. Hang in there, David, okay? Hang in there, bud. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me there. Okay, thank you. All right, and so we can calculate the deviations on both platforms. Now let's calculate it and let's see what happens when you increase the data by 6. Okay, what happens to the standard deviation right here when you increase the data by 6? Let's do it on the 84 first. Okay, so again, let's go back to stats. Let's look at our list now. So go back into edit. Everybody select number 1 for edit. So you can see all 3 data sets. L1, look on the screen, guys. L1 is the original data set. L2 is when you add 6 to each one. That's the data set that we want. We're going to calculate the the standard deviation using L2 now. So hit stat again, go to calc, select number 1 for one variable stat, and then we have to go second L2, which is right above the number 2, and then hit enter. And notice that there's a new mean, there's a new, oh, there's the standard, there we go. There's the standard deviation at the bottom there. So, ooh. So there we go. Notice that jives with what we came up with earlier, okay? Oh, you know what? Did I press L2? Let me double check this. Hang on, let me just double check. Stat, calc, L1, or I mean L2, second L2. Ah, okay. Yeah, same. So notice there's no change right here. Whether you use the original data set or if you add 6 to each one, there's no change. So let's just write down our result here. Maybe surprising to you, maybe not. I don't know. All the data was changed by the same amount. You simply add 6. So there's no change in the standard deviation. No change from here to here. Now, if you increase each one by 3, do you think we are going to have a change? Give me your best guess on that one. Give me actually go to the change. Go to a chat here since I can't see everybody here. If we increase the data or multiply each data by 3 and recalculate the deviation, is the standard deviation going to change or not change? What do you guys think? Okay, so I'm looking here. Most of you guys are saying yes. There's a few not sures. Okay, I appreciate the people that are being honest by saying not sure. So what do you do if you're not sure? What do you do? Come on, guys, you should know. What do you, okay, that's one way is to ask me, but what should we do right now, like with the data?
Guess
We want, I'm sorry, go ahead.
guess and check.
Okay, well, yeah, we're guessing. Most of you guys said it's probably going to change. Some people not sure. So how do we check, Riley? What do we do?
Well, we would find the standard deviation if they were multiplied by 3. So you would go back up to your data table and multiply them all by 3, and then look for the standard deviation in that.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Beautiful. Let's do that. She's right on. Okay, so let's clear the calculator. Let's look at the data first. So go hit stat and then hit edit. Edit means, you know, you want to change the data. We don't want to change the data. We just want to make sure that the data is in L3. So notice list 3 here is 3 times as big as L1. Okay, and we're going to use the data in list 3. If you're in Desmos, you can enter these values into another table if you want. Okay, do the same thing as we did earlier, but enter the new values. Hit stat again. Go to calculate on the right. So go to the right, select number 1 for one variable stat. At this point, when you're using the T84, we need to say, hey, we got to tell the calculator where the data is. And like Riley said, it's in L3. It's in the 3rd column. So go second L3, which is right above the number 3, and then hit enter. Now let me screenshot this and get this in our notes here. So check this out. Okay, so let's put this right here on the right so we can see it better. Okay, so here's this is for the data set when we're multiplying everything by 3. So we're going to look here. And we're going to highlight the standard population deviation of 71.145 basically. So here we go. Let's record that. So 71.145. So the original was 23.714. Now we have 71.145. It obviously changed, but how did it change? It goes out to you guys. How did the standard deviation change when we changed the data by a factor of 3? Which means the data values got 3 times as big. Come on, you guys. I need better participation here. Increase. Tell me how.
It tripled.
Okay, it tripled. It increased. It tripled. There was a multiplication factor of 3. It tripled. Beautiful. Let's put that down. Okay, so it tripled. All right, which means it multiplied by 3. Okay, it got 3 times as large. 23.714 times 3. So times 3, it tripled as well. So if you triple the data values, then you triple the standard deviation. Oh my God, maybe that happens all the time. Maybe if you multiplied all the data values by 4, the standard deviation would increase by a factor of 4. Or maybe if you multiply the data values by 5, the standard deviation would increase by a factor of 5. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me, if you understand what I'm saying here. Because these are the things that you need to understand throughout the lesson as you're doing a lot of calculation, okay? Now, after watching the video, I was not indicating this, the video was done by Mr. Alex. We did not intend for you guys to do all your calculations by hand. He even said that in the video, and you're seeing me use the calculator quite a bit because doing the standard deviation by hand is very difficult, very time consuming, and very much calculator based. And so what I'm doing right now is just showing you how to use Desmos and the TID4 to achieve the goal of getting the results so we can interpret and go on, not to do it by hand. Okay, let me pause here. Let me zoom out here so you can see the entire lesson. This is the entire number 6. Let's pause here. I'm going to give it up to you guys here. Take a look at everything we've done so far. If you have questions on technology, either Desmos or TID4, you need to ask me now because you're going to be taking these techniques and finishing the lesson on your own later on today in the class period. And also if you need more time at home, you can have it at home too as well. By the way, Kylie, there's a little thumbs up icon in Zoom. So you can always give me a thumbs up using the little, there's a feature on your control boards where you can give me the thumbs up or different kind of icons, just so you know. Wow. Okay. And some of you guys are telling me right now that you did it all of it by hand. Oh, by the way, so if you did, you were better than 90% of the population out there. If you did it all by hand and checked your answers and you got the correct work, you are not only understanding the lesson, but you are amazing. You know, right now, when I ask you guys to finish up your work, you can use a calculator or a Desmos to get your results, okay? And in the future, I will be more specific on the directions in Canvas so that I don't ask you to do too much, okay? Because I don't want my homework assignments being too long or too intensive. If you're all good, type in all good. And if not, speak up, guys. Talk to me before I have you do something else here. I want to make sure that I give you guys a chance to ask questions at any time.
All good.
Okay, and so any tech questions, either Desmos or TID4, you got to use either one tonight. Because a third of you guys don't have the TID4, so you're going to have to use Desmos. Any questions on Desmos? Because that may have been new. Okay, then let's put the, let's write this down at the very top. So there's 13 total questions in this section. So it's stated in Canvas, but let's go ahead and just write it down. Homework, section 1, is it section 1.4 or 1.3? 1.3. So 1.3 homework here would be 1 through 13 all, okay, except my handwriting is better than this. I just my pen is all jacked up, except numbers 4, 10, and 12. You don't have to do those. So you just have to do a few more. If you did 1, 2, and 3 before you got here, then all you have to do is do a few more and then complete it. And make sure you check your work. If you guys are not going into the student resources and checking your work, oh my God, you better change that. You better print those off and check as you go. Okay, so someone asked me if did they have an app that puts the TID4 on your phone? Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. There's an app that puts the TID on your phone. That'd be perfect. Okay, you could use that. You can use Desmos, or you can use a regular handheld calculator, either one. Any other questions? Where is the student resource located? Okay, let's go to Canvas. Oh, you weren't supposed to turn in your homework today. You're supposed to complete it tonight, and I will always give you time after class to complete your work on the section. You can upload it by midnight tonight. But Cameron asked me about the student resource. Let me go to Canvas. I want to make sure that you guys know where this is. This is important because if you guys haven't printed off your solutions, you should. Because I have all my notes, my student workbook, my solutions in my, check this out, in my 3-ring binder here. Look at this, guys, right? Oh, where's it? What happened? What happened there? Can you guys see this right here? Oh, that's really weird. My digital thing is not working here. Well, that's weird. I got this digital virtual background. It didn't even let you see my 3-ring binder. But anyways, here we go. So period 3. This goes out to Cameron, but everybody else should know this right here. Find student workbook answers right here. You see the highlight. Cameron, are you with me out there?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, I can barely hear you. So click on that. And right here, there's the answers for the first 6 units. I would obviously open that up. If you haven't done this, I would open it up. Here are the answers in bold. They're mostly correct. And I say that because in the last section, and someone, I forgot who it was in this class, I'm pretty sure it was period 3, someone pointed out a mistake in, it's this one here, section, who found the mistake in section 2, number 3, it was 3D in the last section. One of you guys was very.
That was me, I think.
Yeah, so Melina, didn't we stay at the end of class and didn't you ask me about 3D?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you were correct, by the way. This right here, they asked you for the monthly average, and this number here is the yearly average. So you'd have to take this answer 17.8 and divide it by 12 to get the average monthly. So I'm proud of you for speaking up. You were the one, I could definitely tell that you were checking your work, and you just keep on doing that, okay? And publishers aren't perfect. This is a new addition to the book, and believe it or not, since it has like thousands and thousands of answers and problems, sometimes the publisher forgets to update an answer, and that was it right there. We're talking about 3D. But you guys, you need to print this off, put it on your desktop, and check your work as you go. Because if you're not doing that, then you're not being the best that you can be in respect to the course. Because as you do your homework, you got to check it, because we're all human. We make mistakes, including your instructor, yours truly. I check my work as I'm doing all of this too. All right, so good question. Thank you, Cameron, for bringing that up. J. Ron says, he says, not me. That was funny, man. I like your sense of humor. All right. Anything else before I let you go? Because I'm going to give you the rest of the hour because we have 45 minutes left I'm going to give you the rest to do the rest of your homework and upload. Jonathan, what do you have, bud?
I have a question on like one through three. Like, how do you find the variance like on the calculator?
Oh. Okay, now, so good question. So the variance is the square of the standard deviation. So have you got on 3D, I've got it up here on the screen. Have you found 3 part D, the standard deviation yet?
No.
Have you entered the data set in the calculator yet?
No, I didn't put it in the calculator. I just found the range and the mean. And
Okay,
I just did it by hand.
What do you want to use, the TI-84 or Desmos?
The TI-84.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Okay, I'm going to go over this just a little bit more on number 3. If you guys want to stay and watch this right here, I'm going to work with them. Feel free to stay and continue. If you want to continue the rest on your own, feel free to go and then make sure you upload, convert your stuff to a PDF and upload it by tonight. Okay, so Jonathan, let's continue, okay?
Okay.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Stat and then Edit. And then we're going to go to the right to L4. So you see how L4 is available?
Yes.
Okay, so go to L4 and let's see how many data points do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 of them. So N is 11. Okay, so here we go. Let's do it together. Let's just do it, man. Okay, let's put the data points in. So work with me, all right? So
okay.
10 and then enter. Keep on doing it. Work ahead of me. Okay, you don't need me to enter the data points in. Now there's 3 100, so be careful when you enter your values.
Okay.
There's 2 120s. There's 125. There's 2 150s. And there's a 250. And if we did it right, there should be 11 values. And notice what I did. I went back up with my cursor to the last entry. And at the bottom of the calculator, it says L411. That stands for the 11th entry is 250. So I know I didn't skip any. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
If I go too fast, just let me know. I know it's tough to listen, do, and take notes all at the same time. So
okay.
Let me know if you want me to slow down. Just say slow down, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now we need to calculate. Let's calculate the standard deviation. Well, because if we calculate the standard deviation, believe it or not, it gives us the mean. It gives us both at the same time. So we might as well do that. So hit Stat again.
Okay.
Now we have to go to the right where it says Calc. We're going to select number 1 for the one variable stats. Let me repeat that. Let me just clear the screen and repeat that. I'm going to hit Stat, go to the right to Calc, select Enter. Now, what list column was our data in? L1, L2, L3, or L4?
It was L4.
Okay, so on your calculator, look above the number 4 button. Do you see the blue lettering L4?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, go second L4.
Okay.
Do you see how it pops up on the screen?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, now hit Enter.
Wait, I just had a quick question though.
Yeah.
So like, what's the difference between like 1 var stat and 2 var stat?
We'll get to that later when we do 2 variable stats.
Okay.
Right now, this is a 1 variable stat case. We don't have 2 sets of data that we're comparing. We're just looking at 1 set of data only.
Right.
Okay, so let me screenshot this here so we can bring it into our lesson here. Okay, so here's the TI-84. All right, so let's highlight a few things. So this is your population deviation. That's this one. So it's standard deviation. It's 57.793 roughly.
Okay.
So let's record that. So these are dollar amounts. So 57.793. You with me?
Yes.
Okay, that's your standard deviation. That's this symbol right here. It's the
Okay.
lowercase sigma. It's pronounced sigma. It's a lowercase. You know, in Greek symbols have uppercase and lowercase like we do, believe it or not. Okay, now do you remember in the lesson when you watched the lesson with Mr. Alex that to get from standard deviation to the variance, we have to, well, the variance to the standard deviation you square root. So to go backwards, we have to square.
Right.
So we have to square the 57.793. So the variance is the standard deviation squared. So you got to take this and you got to square it.
Okay.
So basically it's 57.793 squared. Now on your calculator, let's just do it. 57.793 and then hit the X squared button.
Yeah.
And it's typically a big number. So 3,340 basically. You follow me?
Yes. Did you put the decimal though? Like to
Sure. Yeah, let's just take a couple of digits. So 0.03. So to go from standard deviation to variance, you square it. To go from variance to standard deviation, you square root it. That's how you get back and forth.
Okay.
And then this up here in the calculator here, this is your mean right here.
Okay.
That's your mean. So the mean of the data, the average of the data is 115.91 roughly. So are you good with that?
Yeah, I got it wrong. Like, cause I I didn't know you had to use like the calculator, like the list. So I just like tried to add it out, and when I got the mean, I got 163.3.
Then that's an input error. What happened was that you inputted incorrectly one of the digits, which is a very common thing happening. It happens to me too. So what I suggest you do is try it with the way we did it today, and also try to use Desmos using a table. So all you have to do is go to the next line, enter in a new table, and enter in a new data. I like Desmos just because you use a keyboard and you're less likely to make mistakes, I find, because when I do it on Desmos, I make less mistakes for some reason. So go back and forth between the two tools and use T84 and then back it up with the Desmos and see what happens. See how that works with you or for you. And then let's see what else. Range, that's just high minus low. That's easy. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. You're welcome. Anytime. Anybody else have a question or anything I can address for you guys? Fair enough. Okay, then you guys take the rest of the time, work on your homework right now while it's fresh in your mind. You know, make yourself proud, get it done. If you haven't printed off the answers, go print off the answers so you check as you go. And then if you have questions, note them in the margin. And then when I get to work with you guys again on Thursday, I can address more questions then, either tech questions or concept questions. I'll start off the lesson with next on Thursday with more discussion on this. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Then you guys have a super day.
You too.
Pleasure. Thank you. Pleasure working with you guys, and I'll see you on Thursday. Jack or Savannah, do you guys have any questions for me before you go?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day then.
Thank you.
You bet.